Welcome back then guys to this live stream. It is now time for the sprint race for IFMC GP2, and if you didn't see what happened in yesterday's feature race, once again the championship changed on its hands, with George Russell winning the race after his teammate Felix Rosenqvist suffered from a throttle problem, meaning he could only manage 13th, which later became 12th due to people's penalisations. In second place was Pierre in the Ecademy car, followed by Sergey Sirotkin, who rounded out the podium in the EMR. Well, as you know, the top 8 get reversed, and after a revised order which saw the likes of Gasly and Ghiotto get penalised for several incidents, we've seen Nobuharu and Matsushita on pole position for the sprint race, ahead of Jolyon and Lando Norris. So, it's looking to be a very interesting race. We've got 14 laps of action for the sprint race. So before we start then, guys, let's mute this, turn this up a little, and let's have a look at the grid for the sprint race here at Hockenheim. Here we go then. So on pole position, it is Nobuharu Matsushita with Jolyon in second. It is Lando Norris in third with teammate Nato in fourth. Mitch Evans will start in fifth with Sergey Sirotkin in sixth. Pierre will start in seventh with yesterday's winner George Russell in eighth position with a golden opportunity to take the lead back in the championship. Dan Tickton is in ninth with Vries in 10th position. Sean Goliath was bumped down to 11th thanks to his penalisation. That's Felix Rosenqvist in 12th, the current championship leader. Luca Ghiotto after his penalisation is 13th with Joel Eriksson in 14th position. Lance Stroll is 15th with Santiago Vries in 16th. Sasha Fenestraz is 17th with Luca in 18th position. Yuri Vips is in 19th with Lynn in 20th position. And on the back row of the grid, it's Nyck de Vries and Sergey. And that is the grid for the sprint race here at Hockenheim. So there is the grid then, guys, for the sprint race, and the weather, of course. Being bright and sunny, so leave your predictions, but without further ado, let's get to the sprint race. So, here we are then on the grid then. It is Matsushita on the right of your screens, it's Palmer on the left, who's going to get the lead into turn 1 as we wait for the 5 red lights to signify the start of the sprint race here at Hockenheim. 1 light is on, 2 lights are on, 3 lights are on, 4 lights are on, 5 lights are on. And it is go for the sprint race here at Hockenheim. It's a good start from Palmer, who gets a jump on Matsushita. Palmer leads the race. A good start from Nato, who gets up to second place. It's not been a good start from Matsushita. In fact, Evans has also got the jump on him there. Gasly's had a good start. He's up to 5th. Not a good start from Norris. He's down to 6th place. Russell gets a place at the start, as I think everybody has got through the first corner okay. Yep, no major incidents to report this time. As meantime, Nato looking to the inside of Jolyon. Nato looking to get the lead into the first chicane. Looks like Palmer's got a little bit of an edge going into the first chicane now. Will Nato try and dive it down the inside into the first chicane? No, he can't. Palmer holds on to the lead. Evans trying to keep up as Norris is up to 4th. He gains 2 places in the space of a straight. Pierre loses a place, as is Matsushita. So Norris back up to 4th place as Russell looks to the inside of Gasly's. Meantime, Nato back down the inside of Palmer. In towards the second chicane. Will Nato take the lead from the Brit? And he does. Nato leads the sprint race here at Hockenheim. As the meantime, Norris had to defend because Matsushita back down the inside of Lando Norris. Are they just going to make it? And yes, they are. Matsushita retakes 4th. Gasly retakes 6th from Russell. In the end there, then Sirotkin 8th at this stage. Can everybody get through the second chicane? Okay. It looks like everybody is. Ghiotto bringing up the rear. He's lost out at that second chicane. Nato leads. Palmer close behind in second, as is Evans. As Nato and Palmer look to get their first win. Evans looking to get his second victory of the season as they go up towards the chicane now, as Norris looks to go back down the inside and Matsushita to retake 4th into the bus stop chicane, and he does so. Back up to 4th place goes Lando Norris in the Lightbase Sony racing car. He gets the place back of Matsushita, but Matsushita not giving in. He's going to look to the inside. It's meantime Palmer down the inside and Nato again in towards the stadium section. Will Palmer retake the lead? And he does so. Jolyon retakes the lead here at Hockenheim, as meantime Norris having to fend off from Matsushita, able to hang it around the outside and keeps hold of 4th place. Gasly now right onto the back of this battle, as is Russell and Sirotkin. In fact, the whole trainer cars. Rosenqvist up into 9th place. A good start from him. He's up into 9th. Close to the points now is Rosenqvist after the throttle problem yesterday. As meantime, coming around the final corner, the top 3 still close together. So at the end of lap 1 of 14 then. In the sprint race, it's Palmer who leads, Nato 2nd, Evans 3rd, Norris 4th, Matsushita 5th, and Gasly rounds out the top 6. Nato doesn't attempt to move down into turn 1. Meantime, Norris fending off of Matsushita, as Sirotkin going defensive because down the inside goes Rosenqvist on Sirotkin into turn 1, and Rosenqvist just isn't able to get the place. Sirotkin shuts the door and keeps hold of 8th. Evans sets a fastest lap as Nato down the inside of Palmer again, looking to retake the lead from the Willows Grand Prix drivers to go down this long straight towards the second second chicane. Will Nato get the move done on Jolyon Palmer as Gasly looks to make a move on Matsushita for P5, and Nato takes the lead again. So Nato back into the lead of this sprint race as Gasly's up to 5th. He gets the move done on Matsushita. Up into 5th place goes Pierre Gasly as he now gets a run on Lando Norris for 4th place. Heading down this straight, these two are fighting for 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. Nato goes defensive into the second chicane as meantime now lots of battling going on at the front. Down the inside goes Palmer, and Evans and Norris. Nato have hit each other. Evans up to 2nd. Palmer regains the lead. Nato has dropped a place. A little bit of contact through into that corner. That will be investigated after the race. There's a little bit of a shove there from Evans. And now Norris is now finding a piece of the action, trying to find a way through on his teammate for 3rd place. Evans essentially punting Nato out of the way as they go side by side, ends at the bus stop. Norris down the inside of his own teammate. Will Norris get 3rd from his own teammate into the bus stop? And yes, he can. Norris up into 3rd place. Now Gasly, Matsushita, Russell, and maybe soon Rosenqvist, as Rosenqvist is up into 8th place. He's past Sirotkin, up to P8 goes the championship leader, Felix Rosenqvist. As meantime now Matsushita down the inside, and like Gasly got covered off by Nato. Up into 5th goes Matsushita. Can he take 4th at the same time? No, Nato closes the door there. So back up to 5th place goes Nobuharu and Matsushita as they now come around the left-hander now then. As meantime, as you can see now, Palmer's got a bit of a gap now in front of Evans as Norris, who's pulled away a bit now from that group, he's now trying to close up onto Evans for 2nd place as he looks to try and get his 2nd victory of the season. As meantime, Russell all over the backside of Gasly as he knows his teammate is closing up as well. Coming down this pit straight now, then Matsushita, will he get a run on Nato? He doesn't look close enough. Gasly goes defensive, rightfully so, keeping back Russell in their battle for the final points place as they come out of turn 1 now. They look like saying, no, it's set the fast lap, and out goes Sergey Sirotkin. Sirotkin is out of the race. What's happened to the Ace Midlands racing car? Whereabouts is he on the track? And I think we've missed him. So we're going to have to see if we can see it from this time around. We'll have to have a look at another replay. And there is Sirotkin's name. Let's see if we can find him this time. And there it is. It's a transmission problem. Sergey Sirotkin out of the race with transmission problems. And we're down to 21 runners in this sprint race now then. So not good as far as they're concerned then. Sirotkin out. And now Eriksson is in the top 10 trying to chase down Razia for 9th place. This meantime, Gasly looks to the inside of Matsushita again, looking to retake 5th from the Japanese driver. Matsushita covers him off as now Russell tries to look to the outside of Gasly. Gasly also covers him off as well. And as they all go around the chicane, Nato looks to have got a little bit of a gap between himself and Matsushita. Matsushita got to be a little bit more worried about Gasly right behind him at this stage now. Then as Gasly looks to the inside again on Matsushita to come down the 2nd long straight. And again, having to back out. Look like Matsushita was trying to cover up because he thinks he's caught in the collision of Nato. And as a result, Russell takes full advantage and gets up to 6th. Russell going to try and dive it down the inside of Matsushita. And that's a brilliant pass from George Russell. Up into 5th place goes yesterday's winner. And at this stage, if it stays like this, Russell will retake the lead in the Drivers' Championship by 1 point ahead of Rosenqvist. So at this stage, that's how it works at the moment if it stays like this. And well, that's that really. Meantime, Matsushita though still trying to get back onto it at the moment. As Rosenqvist all over the backside of Gasly. Will he take 7 from the Frenchman as they go in towards the bus stop chicane? Will he get the move done? And yes, he can. Rosenqvist up to 7th place. He passes Gasly and up into 7th goes the Swede. And now he's 1 place away from the points. Matsushita trying to get into the slipstream of Russell but isn't close enough. And Russell keeping on the 5th as he'll now try and chase down Norman Nato for P4 in this race. As Norris is getting closer to the back of Evans now then for 2nd place as they come out of the left-hander now then in towards these next few corners on track. There's Sirotkin's car that pulled off a little earlier on as they come out of these final 2 corners now then. As they come out of the final corner and onto the pit straight, Palmer now then sets the fastest lap. So Palmer now holding on to the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race as he goes round turn 1 as he's now on lap 4:14, 11 laps left in this sprint race now then. As meantime, Matsushita trying to get back on Russell, but it looks like Russell's got a little bit of a gap now between himself and Nobuharu Matsushita. As now Matsushita might need to watch his moves in a little bit because Rosenqvist is starting to close him in. As meantime, Eriksson and Razia continue to fight it out for 9th place as they go side by side down this long straight. It looks like the 2 RSPCA racing cars are fighting it out for 12th place. Yes, they are. Ticton trying to fend off from Vips. As now Eriksson holds on to 9th, but will Razia try and dive it down the inside into the chicane? He's going to have a look as an engine blow for his teammate. Sasha Fenestraz has got an engine failure. Fenestraz's race looks to be coming to an end as his engine has gone up in smoke. And, well, that's his race over with. Anything going on towards the front of the field? Not really much to report on at this stage. Russell Still keeping the gap consistent, but an engine failure for Sasha Fenestraz. His race is going to be over as everybody tries to get around him down this second long straight. And there goes Seti Kamara getting by on him now then. As Euro's on the backside of Vips. I believe that's Vips he's trying to get a hold of for 12th place. And no, it's Tictum in fact. Vips has actually passed Tictum, so up into 11th place goes Yuri Vips. As sorry, up to 12th place goes up into 11th goes Yuri Vips, as now Euro tries to find a way through on Dan Tictum as Razia down the inside of Eriksson, but again Eriksson covers him off into that bus stop to keep hold of 9th place. Fenestraz still driving around the moment but continuing to lose power. A little bit of contact between himself and Sean Galisle there. Galisle gets through, and I think pretty soon Sasha Fenestraz's engine will start to die out, as the Lopez Racing, the Renault engine in the back of the Lopez Racing development car has gone up in smoke, and he'll have to pull over in just a little bit and get to a fire marshal to get that put out, as Palmer sets another fastest lap of 146.334 for Jolyon Palmer, as he continues to hold on to that bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. He continues to lead the way out in front, trying to get Willows Grand Prix first victory since last season, as now Sasha Fenestraz pulls off, and Sasha Fenestraz is out of the race at the same place where Sirotkin pulled over, and we're down to 20 runners as a result. Fenestraz retiring at the side of the track, and well, that's that for him really. Meantime, Rosenqvist not really closing up to Matsushita as much as he would want to. Gasly still keeping him honest in 8th place. Eriksson starting to pull a gap now between himself and Razia. Vip starting to close up. As meantime, Euro got up to 12th, but now Tictum wants that place back as they go side by side into the chicane. Kamara getting up close to this battle as well down the inside, and Tictum retakes 12th from Lucas Euro there into the first chicane. Now Seti Kamara wants a piece of Lucas Euro if he can as they come out of that first chicane. So coming out of that chicane we go, as they head down this straight now, then side-by-side action between Yoa and Tictum, as Seti Kamara looks to try and make it 3 wide if he can. He's in the slipstream, he's going to look to the inside of the pair of them. He gets by on Tictum there, down the inside of Yoa, and he gets the place. Seti Kamara up into 12th place. Tictum losing 2 places to go down to 14th, so Seti Kamara gaining 2 places. Now Stroll wants a piece of that battle between Yoa and Tictum as they come down towards the bus stop chicane. Tictum looking to the inside now then of Lucas Euro. Will he retake 13th from the Austrian as they go down towards this bus stop chicane? But he doesn't look like he's got enough momentum. We'll try and dive it down the inside of the bus stop, but Euro covers him off. Stroll looking for a piece of the action if he can do in this race now then. As meantime, Norris getting closer again to the back of Evans as these two look to fight it out and scrap it out for 2nd place in this race. Remember, Evans is under investigation for that little contact with Nato, but we'll wait and see what the stewards come out of that as a result. Round the final corner goes Norris. Let's see what the gap is like as Palmer continues to set the fastest lap. We're on lap 6 now, 14 in this sprint race, so including this lap, we now have 9 laps to go as Lando Norris now sets the fastest lap. So now Norris takes the bonus point away from Palmer, and now Norris is currently holding on to the bonus point. 1.1 seconds is the gap between himself and Evans at the moment in their fight for 2nd place. Meantime, Rosenqvist has got the slipstream of Matsushita, who's going to look to the inside of the Japanese driver. Will he get the move done as they go side by side down towards the first chicane now? Then will Rosenqvist get the move done? And yes, he can. Up into the points goes Felix Rosenqvist, meaning that the gap will be dead level at this stage between Russell and Rosenqvist. But Russell will still take the lead in the Drivers' Championship because he's had more victories than what Rosenqvist has had this season. 3 victories for Russell, only 1 for Rosenqvist. The only reason why Rosenqvist has been leading the championship is because of his consistency, which has kept him up at that place. As meantime now though, Matsushita trying to get hold of Rosenqvist again as they go side by side into the 2nd chicane. Rosenqvist on the inside, and Rosenqvist fends off 6th place, and Matsushita loses all the momentum, and now Matsushita again in the clutches of Pierre Gasly as Gasly looks to try and take 7th from the Japanese driver now. Then as they head down the straight, Gasly looks to the inside. Will he get the move done on there behind Matsushita as Rosenqvist tries to close in on his teammate and nearest challenger George Russell. Russell at the same time though is closing in onto Nato for 4th. Down the inside goes Gasly on Matsushita, and he gets the place. Up into 7th place goes Pierre Gasly, getting the move done there on Nobuharu Matsushita. As meantime now then, Vip's getting away. Yura has got away, and up into 14th on Team Banner cameras goes Stroll. He's past Tictum, so Stroll gets up to 14th. Tictum now into the clutches of a recovering Luca Ghiotto as they now go around the right-hander, and Russell getting closer now then to the back of his car. Meantime, what's the gap between 2nd and 3rd of Evans and Norris as Palmer sets the fast lap again, so he takes that bonus point back off Norris as he does a 146.144. Norris doesn't set another fastest lap, but let's see if he's still gaining onto Evans as they come out of turn 1. Lap 7 of 14, while at the halfway stage of the sprint race, it's down to 0.9 seconds. So Norris is taking 2 tenths out of Evans' lead there. Meantime, Rosenqvist trying to get up with Russell trying to get up with Nato, but he seems to be losing a bit of time as Rosenqvist closes in. Gasly trying to close back in onto that battle as Matsushita continues to lose time to Pierre Gasly. Vips closing in onto Razia as they fight for P10, and they will allow approach the next chicane on the track. Meantime, Lynn having to fend off from Vries, who's trying to look on the inside of him. These two made contact yesterday, which was deemed a racing incident yesterday. But as Ghiotto trying to put Tictum under pressure in front of them at this stage, in towards that chicane, Vries unable to find a way through on Lynn that time around as they come out of that first chicane. So out the corner it goes. Meantime, now Ghiotto onto the inside there. Tictum, can Ghiotto get the move done on Dan Tictum? He tucks back into the slipstream, maybe try and dive down the inside into the chicane as meantime looks like there's side-by-side action between Vries and Lynn into that second chicane where they make contact, and they're going to keep single file this time, or will they? Because Vries is going to try and dive it down the inside, but Lynn shuts the door to keep hold of 18th at this stage. Now then, coming out of the bus stop chicane, we will go on the track at this stage as mentioned. At this stage, if it stays like this, Rosenqvist and Russell will be tied on points, but Russell will lead the championship because he's got more victories than what Rosenqvist has this season. So Russell will lead the championship due to the number of wins if it stays like this. So now around the left-hander we will go now then as Rosenqvist tries to get on terms with George Russell at this stage as they come around the final few corners on the track. Now then, there's Russell still in 5th place, still trying to chase down Nato. What's the gap between Norris and Evans as they fight for 2nd place? As we're on lap 8 of 14 now, then 7 to go in this sprint race. Coming out of the first corner, the gap now then is back up to 1 second. So Evans has upped the pace by yet another 10th. So it's back up to a second exactly between Evans and Norris at this stage of the race. As Rosenqvist trying to get up close to see if he can keep the gap to see if he can try and keep the gap in the trying to think what was I going to say to see if he can try and increase the gap a little bit in the Drivers' Championship, maybe try and up it to 2 points if he can try and find a way through on George Russell. So Gasly just doesn't seem to have the pace of the 2 Red Bull Academies in front of him at this stage. Meantime, Seti Kamara is onto the backside of Euro Vips as Seti Kamara tries to make up for lost time after yesterday's crash in the feature race after being collected by, in fact, the man that's in front of him at the moment. Was it him? Yes, it was him. It was Yuri Vips yesterday that collected him. So that's that really. So now he's going to try and find a way through it as he looks to the outside into the second chicane. Side by side they go, and he didn't even need to wait for the corner. The momentum took him with him, and Seti Kamara is up into 11th place, getting the move done on Vips. So up into P11 goes Seti Kamara as he now tries to chase down Louis Razia to get himself into the top 10, but Vips may want to try and get back in the switch and try and get him, but he doesn't look like he's close enough to get him. So Seti Kamara holds on to P11. And now Seti Kamara will try and chase down fellow compatriot Razia if he can as they negotiate round the bus stop chicane now then on the track. Rosenqvist now then. Will he try and get hold of Russell if he can, as Russell tries everything he can to still try and close in onto Norman Nato for P4 in this race as they come around the final few turns now then. Up towards the final 2 turns then. Goes, oh, what's happened to Gasly? Gasly's gone off at the hairpin. Gasly has gone off at the left-hander. And so Gasly has made a mistake into this hairpin. And there it is, probably just a little bit greedy on the power. It seemed as he must have lost it on the bump a little bit. And as a result, he drops down to 8th. And he's now in the clutches of Joel Eriksson. So Matsushita back up to 7th place as a result. So that's that for him, as now Eriksson will try and find a way through on Gasly if he can, down towards turn 1. Will Eriksson grab 8 from the Academy driver? Gasly defends the inside, but Eriksson doesn't think about a move, and Gasly will hold on to 8th place as they come down the first long straight, as he will try and now get him into the first chicane. Now then Eriksson looks to the inside of Pierre Gasly. Would he get the move done on the Frenchman? Now then down the inside of the first chicane, but Gasly covers him off and retains 8th place from the Swede So, but let's see if Eriksson will try and dive it into the first chicane. He doesn't. He's going to remain single file behind the Frenchman as they come out of that first chicane. Will he maybe try and get him into the second chicane if he's able to stay within his slipstream now? Then down the straight now then go Gasly and Eriksson. Eriksson looks to the outside of Pierre Gasly. Will he get the move done? Rosenqvist getting closer to Russell in their battle for 5th place as Eriksson tucks back in the slipstream of Gasly. Will he try and dive it into the second chicane? Nope. He's going to remain single file. Isn't going to risk it for a chalky biscuit at this stage now then. Out of the second chicane, down this third long straight. Eriksson might have a go into the bus stop. He tucks into the slipstream. He's going to look to the inside. Will Eriksson grab 8th from the Frenchman as they go side by side up towards the bus stop chicane? Will Eriksson grab 8th from Gasly down the inside? And yes, he can. Eriksson up into 8th place, getting the move done on Pierre Gasly. And Gasly down to 9th as a result of that then. Gasly unable to get back on the prow of him up towards the right-hander. Sirotkin getting closer to Razia as it looks like the two Brazilians will fight it out for P10 in this race. A top 10 position. Meantime, look how close Rosenqvist is getting onto his nearest rival, George Russell, as these two are battling it out for the Drivers' Championship this season, it must be said, as the two Red Bull Academy cars come around the final 2 corners now then and onto the pit straight. And let's see what the gap is like between Rosenqvist and Russell on this lap. 5 laps remaining for race leader Jolyon Palmer in the Willows Grand Prix car. Heading out of turn 1. The gap between them, let's have a look then, is now with 5 laps remaining, 0.9 seconds. So it is under a second between Russell and Rosenqvist in this race. Rosenqvist just falling back a bit now from Norman Nato. Nato looking good for 4th place at this stage. Norris isn't getting closer to Evans in any way, shape or form. You'll have to hope in these last 5 laps he can just pull something out of the bag to try and grab second from the Kiwi at this stage. Just strolls into the pit. Why Stroll in? And he's got a brake problem. Stroll has a brake problem in this race. And, well, that's that for him, really. Stroll into the pits. And that's that for him, really. We've got a yellow flag down at turn 1, and that's it. That's Ghiotto. Ghiotto's gone for a spin down at turn 1. Stroll in thanks to a brake problem. Let's see how this happened. Going into turn 1, and Ghiotto runs out of road there, trying to give, I think that was Eriksson, some space there. Vries, lucky he didn't collect him there. And Ghiotto finding himself now then down in 18th place. And, well, at this stage, they're going to be losing some points to Lightbase Sony Racing in their fight for 2nd place in the Team's Championship. As Stroll in to repair that brake problem. And now he will drop down to 20th and last in this race. Rosenqvist negotiates round the second chicane. And he just comes out of that second chicane now then before heading down this 3rd long straight now then. As he tries everything to reel in onto George Russell in this race. Meantime, Gasly back on the prowl of Joel Eriksson. He hasn't given up in their fight for 8th place at this stage. As meantime, his teammates getting up close in the background to Louis Razia. So Razia at the moment in an Ecademy sandwich. As now up towards the bus stop we will go. Will Gasly try a dive into the bus stop? Nope, not close enough. Maybe he's thinking of a move into that right-hander before they go onto the stadium section. Riding on board with Pierre Gasly. Will he get the move done? Eriksson into this right-hander. He tucks up into the slipstream. He's going to look to the inside. Will Gasly retake 8th from the Swede? Down towards the right-hander we go. Down the inside goes Gasly. And he does so. Back up into 8th place goes Pierre Gasly in the Academy. So he retakes 8th from Joel Eriksson as a result. As he'll now try and get away from the Swede at this stage. So Gasly retaking 8th place from Joel Eriksson as he'll try and close back in onto Nobuharu and Matsushita if he can. And now Gasly starts to put a bit of a gap between himself and Joel Eriksson as the pair of them round the final 2 corners on the track now then. But that's that really as far as they're concerned. As I say that though, Eriksson's still within the slipstream of Gasly. Gasly still went defensive, and in fact, even despite the overtake, Gasly now sets the fastest lap of the race. So far, Gasly is holding on to the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. And Eriksson back on the prowl, and that's Nato! No, that's Norris! Lando Norris has got a problem! The man that was in 4th place, sorry, that was on the podium, has got a transmission problem. Lando Norris is out of the race, and we're down to 19 runners. Whether he'll be classified or not, I don't know if he's completed 90% of the race distance. We'll have to wait and see. But Eriksson back down the inside of Gasly as they now fight for what will be 7th place now, as Matsushita finds himself back in the points. But Norris has cost himself a podium, and Lando Norris is out of the race, and we're down to 19 runners here at Germany. And Norris, his race comes to an end, and that now puts teammate Norman Nato onto the podium. And, well, Start for him, really. Norris's race ends. Bitterly disappointed for him as far as he's concerned. And as mentioned, it now puts Nato onto the podium. So while one Lightbase Sony Racing retires from the podium, the other one capitalises and makes sure that Lightbase Sony Racing ensures that they do get on the podium by the end of the race, as the two Red Bull Academies aren't getting up close to Nato at this stage. In fact, Rosenqvist is still not within the slipstream of Russell, with 3 and a bit laps remaining in this sprint race now then, as they will now approach the bus stop chicane. Around the left, right and left-hander we will go, as they now head down the straight towards the right-hander, and up towards the right-hander now then we'll go Rosenqvist. We'll have a look in a little bit and see what the gap is like between the two teammates once they start lap 12. I think Palmer's about to start it very soon anyway. He's just coming around the final few turns now then. Palmer about to start lap 12 now then, a 14 in the sprint race, as it's looking good for him to get his first victory of the season, and Willows Grand Prix as well, after what has been a tricky season for them in GP2, it must be said. And well, it seems that this will please team boss Joseph Willows as far as he is concerned. Let's see the gap then between the two Red Bull Academy drivers with 3 laps to go. Let's see the gap between Russell and Rosenqvist as they round turn 1 on the track, using that little bit of tarmac on the outside. The gap between them is now 0.7 seconds. So in fact, from the last time we checked, Rosenqvist has actually taken 2 tenths out of Russell's lead now then, so we could have a scrap for 4th place at this stage within the final few laps. And just to let you know, Gasly did hold on to 7th place in the end, so he's held on to 7th, and now Eriksson is starting to fall back as Kamara's up to 9th. He's passed Razia at turn 1, setting Kamara up into 9th place, but Razia trying to get back on his fellow compatriot if he can now as they go down this long straight. Setting Kamara covers him off down this long straight before approaching the second chicane, as meantime now then Joa and Vips battle it out for a length. Joa takes a length from the Estonian, but Vips wants it back into the first chicane. Razia looks to the inside, setting Kamara to the first chicane, but setting Kamara just able to hang it around the outside to keep hold of 9th place as Joa just fends off a length from Vips. But meantime, Razia back down the inside of setting Kamara down this long straight, trying to get him into the second chicane. Setting Kamara covers him off again as Joa goes defensive because Vips looks to the outside of him in their battle for 11th. Up towards the second chicane we go, and Razia not close enough to get Seti Kamara in this race. I think that said that somebody else set the fastest lap of the race there. I think that might have said Stroll that took the fastest lap off Gasly. I could be wrong, but I think that said Stroll set the fastest lap of the race. So I think now Stroll holds on to the bonus point for the fastest lap, as Razia not close enough to get Seti Kamara up towards this bus stop chicane. As Vips up to 11th, he's got the move done on Joa, and up into 11th place goes Yuri Vips now then, and he gets the move done on the Austrian. As a result, as now Urishi and Vries will try and close up onto the VorteX Racing driver if they can, as Seti Kamara now starting to get away from Razia at this stage of the race. Meantime, look how close the two Red Bull Academy drivers are. Jolyon Palmer, I think, has now started the penultimate lap of this sprint race now. Then he started lap 13 of 14, and Palmer on the penultimate lap of the race. Meantime, the two Red Bull Academies look to be in combat for 4th place, and but let's see the gap this time by as they come up towards turn 1 on the track. Let's see the gap between Russell and Rosenqvist this time around as they come out of turn 1, and the gap, let's have a look. The gap is now 0.7 seconds, so it's the same from last lap. Rosenqvist still not within the slipstream of his own teammate at this stage of the race, as they both head down through this first of 4 long straights here at Hockenheim. And we're just 1 minute away from the 4 o'clock mark. We're just over half an hour away from the German Grand Prix. And Rosenqvist negotiates around this second chicane and doing a fine job in the car as they come out of the corner now then. And Rosenqvist seems to be losing a bit of time now, it seems, to Russell. So if Russell can just keep this pace up, he'll hold on to 4th, and as a result retake the lead in the Drivers' Championship. But it will be dead level between the two Red Bull Academy drivers, with Russell leading because of the fact he's got more wins than Rosenqvist this season, 3 compared to 1. As they just negotiate round the chicane. It seems in this sector, though, Rosenqvist is a little bit stronger than what Russell is. It seems the first sector, Russell's stronger than Rosenqvist. As Stroll sets another fastest lap, so 1:45.756. So Stroll is holding on so far to the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race, and they're looking to try and get GOM something and try and get some points for them out of Germany, even if it is just 1 solitary point for the fastest lap, as the two Red Bull Academy drivers negotiate round the bus stop chicane. And whether Rosenqvist will be able to get within slipstream range of Russell on the final lap of the race, we will have to wait and see. Hopefully they'll give us some entertainment So this race draws near to a close. But meantime, here is Jolyon Palmer, who rounds the final 4 corners of the track and has done an absolutely sensational job since he took the lead from the end of lap 1. So Palmer just came out of the final corner, and Jolyon Palmer is about to start his final lap here at the sprint race at Hockenheim. It has been a fantastic race for Jolyon Palmer as far as he's concerned. He started in 2nd place, was able to get the jump on Matsushita at the start, had a little bit of pressure at the beginning from the likes of Evans and Nato. Then a little bit of contact occurred. Palmer managing to take full advantage and grab the lead, and from that point he was able to have a big enough lead in front of Mitch Evans, and from that point no one has been able to stop him. And if he just keeps this up, he's looking good to get what will be, I think, his 4th GP2 career victory, and Willows Grand Prix first since, I want to say it was either in a ref or Abu Dhabi, I think their last win was, or it could have been Magny-Cours. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it will be their first victory since last season after what has been a tricky victory for the team, tricky season, sorry, for the team. And as they come out of the chicane, meantime, Rosenqvist trying to get up close to Russell, but at this stage, judging from the gap, I think Russell has done enough to hold on to 4th, and I think he will do enough, and I think he will hold on to this place. I don't think Rosenqvist has got enough in him to try and overhaul his teammate, and will have to settle for 5th, and as a result, lose the lead in the Drivers' Championship to George Russell, but will be level with his teammate as a result, but be behind because he has less wins than Russell this season. As the pair of them negotiate around the bus stop chicane for the final time, they head down the straight towards the stadium, the right-hander, which takes them onto the stadium section, which is where Palmer has just passed now. So here is Jolyon Palmer then, as he rounds the hairpin now then for the final time. He's going to round the final 4 corners. It has been a brilliant race for Jolyon Palmer as far as he's concerned. He rounds the final 2 turns. Up towards the final corner he goes, and after an amazing race, it is going to be Jolyon Palmer who wins the sprint race here at Hockenheim. Congratulations to him and the Willows Grand Prix team. He takes his first victory of the season and back to winning ways for Jolyon Palmer and Willows Grand Prix. Mitch Evans for now finishes in 2nd because he is under investigation. We'll wait and see if he does get punished. Nato 3rd, Russell 4th, Rosenqvist 5th, Matsushita 6th, Gasly will finish in 7th, 1 place outside the points. Eriksson is in 8th. Seti Kamara will cross the line 9th. A good recovery for him after only being in last after yesterday's disaster. Razia will cross the line in 10th. Vips will cross the line in 11th in the RSPCA racing car. So unseen by the cameras, he did retake that place from Luca, who's going to cross the line 12th. Urishia across the line 13th. De Vries 14th in the GRM. It's going to be 15th place for Alex Lynn in the Macamo car. 16th for Sean Goliath. So that's where the Holy Trinity racing car will finish. Dan Ticktum is going to cross the line 17th, closely followed by Luca Ghiotto in 18th position. And a little bit later on, it will be Lance Stroll in 19th, thanks to his brake problem he had a few laps ago. As he comes around the final 2 turns, around the final corner, and Stroll is going to cross the line in 19th and last with 3 retirements from this race. So there you have it then, guys. After all of that, it is Jolyon Palmer who wins the sprint race here at Hockenheim, and it's back to winning ways for the Brits. So there you have it then, guys. After all of that, here's the results of the sprint race here at Hockenheim. Jolyon Palmer won the race with Mitch Evans in 2nd. Norman Nato finished in 3rd with George Russell 4th. Felix Rosenqvist 5th. Nobuharu Matsushita in 6th with Pierre Gasly 7th. Joel Eriksson in 8th. Sergey Kamara 9th. Louis Razia 10th with Yuri Vips 11th. Luca 12th. Santiago Urishia 13th with Nyck de Vries in 14th position. And if we scroll down the rest of the field, if it lets me, there you go. It was Alex Lynn in 15th with Sean Goliath 16th, Dan Ticktum 17th, Luca Ghiotto 18th, Lance Stroll, the last of the finishers, in 19th. The 3 retirements were Lando, Norris, Sasha Fenestraz and Sergey Sirotkin. They were the retirements of the race. So let's see who set the fastest lap of the race then, who's going away with the bonus point. And it was Lance Stroll with a 1 minute 45.626. I think he even set one more fastest lap on the final lap. He was 4 tenths quicker than Pierre Gasly in the end, so Stroll takes the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. So there you have it then, guys. That has been it for GP2 this weekend. GP2 will be back next weekend at Budapest. But stick around now, guys, because coming up next is the 45-lap German Grand Prix, which sees Fernando Alonso on pole position ahead of Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo. So if you want to go and grab a quick drink, then you can. The podium for GP2 is coming your way just after this. But until then, I've been JW1. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Enjoy the GP2 podium.